Well, it's finally come to fruition.
Finally.
I remember in January of this year leaving the first pitch dinner, and I texted Jones.
Yeah, this is a true story.
And I said, Jones, Jake Knapp is going to be awesome on the pod when he is inevitably on the pod. I'm just telling you he's going to be a great guest. And I think Jones might have been a little skeptical.
Yeah.
But now here we are with the ACC Pitcher of the Year, fresh off a big series win, most notably a really big win for Jake Knapp on Thursday night over Florida State. Tar Heels headed for the ACC tournament, and Jake is here. Jake, thanks so much.
Thank you for having me. Nothing more nerve-wracking than the first pitch banquet speech.
That's a big one.
I was sweating through my suit. So
you didn't
I'll take
seem
anything opposed to that.
You didn't seem nervous though.
I was without a doubt.
Like more nervous than going to the mound in Dick Howser Stadium in Tallahassee?
Not even close. Way more nervous for the first pitch banquet speech. Way more.
That's good to know. Just get them out of the way early, and then when it's the 8th inning against the Seminoles or something, no big deal.
Yep.
I like that. Well, first of all, congratulations. ACC Pitcher of the Year. How cool was that?
Thank you. It's awesome. I told Coach Forbes and Coach Gaines, I don't think it should be an individual award. There's so much that went into that. The athletic training staff getting me back from injury, and obviously the great play all around me all year. So it really goes out to everybody in the program and the guys.
How did you find out? Do you get like a secret email or something, or did Coach Forbes tell you? How did all that work?
One of the first I actually saw was Hunt Bailey. He's one of our student managers last year, texted me. I guess he saw it on social media. I knew it was coming out at some point that day, but I did not know exactly when, and he texted me, and then I saw it.
Man,
Hunt Bailey in charge of all ACC award reveals.
That's right. You would think they would let Jake know maybe separately. No, let's get our tweet out first.
Maybe like a call from Jim Phillips or something on a coded line. So take us to Tallahassee this weekend. Huge series, top 5 series, Carolina, Florida State. You're going out to the mound in a highly anticipated pitch and matchup. Great environment. Just kind of take us through that night.
Yeah, that was an unbelievable environment. And I honestly hate playing at night. I love it once it comes, but just that day is so long. You just anticipate it. It feels like that 10 hours you're awake, it feels like it's a whole week. So honestly, just trying to keep my mind busy throughout the day, doing random stuff. It's harder on the road. Trying not to go walk campus or something. It's brutally hot down there. When we went to up north, like you could walk around a little bit, but out there is trying to stay inside. But honestly, just trusting the preparation. Coach Gaines, Coach Howe gave us a great game plan. We were just going to go out there and attack and kind of not let the environment kind of have an effect on you. Obviously, it's different on the road, but just controlling that momentum was the big thing we were looking at going into the weekend, and we did a good job of that. So
you're sitting on 101 pitches after 8. Is there any conversation at all that Jake might be done?
There was not. And it was Throwback Thursday at Dick Howser Stadium. So on the scoreboard they had where the pitch count was. I didn't think they had it, but I saw it the rest of the weekend. It was a yellow background with white numbers, so you couldn't see anything. Couldn't see it at all. And like at the Bosch, there's a couple different spots where you can see your pitch count and kind of keep track. And I had no idea where I was at. So I had honestly thought I had thrown more than that. And I was just sitting down on the bench. I was just like, please don't come down and tell me I'm out, because I was going to argue to stay in. And Coach Gaines came down, and I was like, please don't be saying it. And he said, you've earned it. Go do it. Got a taste of it the week before at State, so I wanted to really get it done that week.
I think, is it 5 straight outings with 100 or more pitches thrown? Is that right, Adam? Do I have that right?
I think it might be 6 or 7.
I think it is a little more than 5.
Okay, so that's a lot. But it seems like it's gone fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that we talked about going into the year, Coach Forbes. I'm a super senior. Nothing's guaranteed for me after this year. So I told him once we kind of come off the leash with rehab, I want to leave it all out there. So if I'm throwing well that given day, I told him it's going to be tough to get me out of the game. It's different than a couple other guys on the staff, but I'm 24. Anything after this is a bonus, so why not leave it all out there now?
So you mentioned the injury, and some of our listeners may not know. Take us back to, I guess, January of 24, and what happened, and then what the process was like for you.
Yeah, so I had made the decision to come back for my 5th year and made some changes, and everything was going really well. And just a preseason scrimmage, getting ready. I think we were 3 weeks out. pitching to Jackson Vanderbrake, 0-2 count. Fastball is supposed to be elevated, and I spiked it, felt it go, and which is kind of just in disbelief. So I finished the rest of the inning. It was manageable pain, but like I knew something was wrong, and pretty seriously wrong. But just kind of the adrenaline and the disbelief got through it, and went back to Terry Jo. She's been unbelievable throughout this whole process, and got an MRI the next day. Got appointments the next day. So a place like Carolina, stuff you don't really think about is unbelievable. Being able to get all that care so quick. And then 2 weeks later, I was on a flight to Dallas, Texas, and Dr. Meister, he's the head physician for the Rangers, did my surgery and sent me right back up 2 days later and rehabbed the whole time with Terry Jo. So it was a smooth process, not one you really want to go through, but can't think of a better place than at Carolina with all the support I got, and from sending me out to one of the best surgeons in the world and all the support I got back here. It was kind of eye-opening to see how much care you get at a place like UNC.
Mentally, I have to imagine that was difficult. You're an older guy. You had made this decision to come back. You were poised to be the number one starter on what was expected to be and turned out to be a very good team. And then all of a sudden you have all this kind of pulled out from you. How'd you manage that, and was it ever a tough spot mentally?
Yeah, that was mentally. It was definitely the hardest part. The physical rehab isn't very strenuous. It's very tedious. Not a whole lot of really hard work, but just a lot of boring, monotonous work. But mentally, it was tough, especially so close to the season. Opening day was hard, and I got through it just fine. My family was great through it. The coaching staff, Coach Gaines had been through Tommy John twice, and just kind of leaned on that support system to help me out, especially mentally through the whole process.
And sometimes you get support that's maybe not just everything's great, keep doing whatever you want to do. You talked at first pitch about a conversation with Coach Forbes that maybe helped point you in the right direction. What was that?
I was hesitant to even bring that up in front of everybody there, but so find out that it is torn officially, and talk to Dr. Sioko over at Sports Med, Terry Jo, and then come back to the field. And Coach Forbes knew where I was at. He was waiting for me up in the office, told me to come up there. And I just wanted I thought it was best for me to get away from baseball for a little bit. I thought that was going to be the worst part, was going down in the field, not being able to do all that stuff. And I told him that. I was like, I think I'm going to go home for the weekend, go back to Greensboro, spend some time with my family. And he like kind of cut me off. He was like, no, like you're not going to do that. Like, I've seen this with a lot of different people, and I think the best thing for you is to get back out there, go to practice today, put your practice pants on, like do everything like you're going to be out there. And in the moment, I was not happy at all. Obviously, I wasn't happy with the situation, and then he's telling me what I need to do, and I didn't agree with it at the time, but it honestly couldn't have been better advice. I found that when I was at the field, around the guys, around the coaches, like that was the easiest time for me. And actually, like when I would go home, I'd be like, that's when I would sit and think about it. And so I'm very grateful for that advice, even though it's not at all what I wanted to hear at that time. But he has been around a lot of it, and he knows what he's doing sometimes.
I mean, have you even surprised yourself with this? I mean, this is an incredible year. And Carolina's had a rich history of pitchers. Adam and I were talking about this a little earlier on the show. Like, this season that you're having goes up there with any season a Carolina pitcher has had. Have you even surprised yourself with the level of consistency that you have been able to achieve?
Yes and no. I think I was expecting what I had going in the fall before I got hurt, and I had made some big adjustments to where I was filling up the zone a lot more and avoiding getting deep in counts and being able to mix my pitches a little more. But baseball's tough, and I've seen it just a lot. To be consistent is hard, and it's taken some breaks. It's taken Kane Kepley robbing a home run first time I'm out there against Texas Tech. There's been some things that have gone my way as well, but it's definitely, I wouldn't say it surprised me, but to have the consistency, like you almost expect a hiccup at some point. And knock on wood, hopefully I can keep going the way it has been going. But like I said, it's taken Kane Kepley robbing a home run. Luke Stevenson's unbelievable behind the plate. Like, he's stealing multiple pitches a game, and just everything that goes into it. Like, sometimes it just goes right, and I think that's happened a lot this year.
You don't seem to me to be someone who would get rattled easily on the mound. Like, you just kind of seems like you're going with the flow. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, I think, just like I've said a couple times, I'm old. Like, that's something that has helped me with that, being able to control kind of the emotions of a game. Definitely, that was something that I really struggled with my freshman year at Wilmington. Like, I was living or dying by every pitch, every ball that I threw, and you really can't do that in a game like baseball. And you just gotta kind of treat every pitch individual, and if it goes your way, it's over. If it doesn't go your way, it's over, and move on to that next one. So I've gotten better at that as I've gotten older.
Who makes you feel the oldest on this year's team? I mean, you're 24 and you've got 18, 19-year-old teammates. Who makes you feel the oldest?
Probably still Jason DeCaro, because he's the one who lets me know about it all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he's like 12.
Yeah, that's like my exact response is, I don't even know why I talked to you.
Yeah, Jake was driving when Jason DeCaro was born.
Yeah. Like playing T-ball.
But yeah, he lets me know about it. So we compete against each other just in a fun way. And if I outduel him in something, he's, well, you're 24, and I'm like, well, you're 12. So, but he's special. So, but it's fun to be around all the guys, and they let me hear about it. But it's all fun and games. You
mentioned you were at UNC Wilmington, then you go to Walter State. What was the conversation that you had with Coach Gaines after your first year at Walter State that has been kind of important to you?
Yeah, so I guess it was February, my first year, after my first outing at Walter State. I'm sitting up in my apartment, and I get a text from Coach Bryant Gaines at UNC. Can we hop on a phone call? And, of course, right away, like, up and at it, called him, had a great conversation, and I thought it was going to be a very quick and easy process. Thought I was going to be a Tar Heel right then, and it ended up being far from that. Kind of struggled a little bit that year, would have a good game, couple bad games, and he talked to me through it all, and hadn't heard from him in probably a couple weeks, and we're sitting at the conference tournament in Nashville, and we're getting ready to play, but we're watching the game before us, and I get a call from Coach Gaines and go behind the bleachers, answer it, and he just kind of told me, he was like, at this point in the year, like, I don't think we're going to offer you. Like, I just wanted to call and tell you that instead of just kind of moving on and not telling you anything. And obviously not what you want to hear, but I really, really respected that, because there's a lot of coaches out there that if they need to make a call like that, they're not going to do it. You just won't hear from them. And that happened with some other schools. So I really, really respected that, and had a chance to go play mid-major baseball again after that first year. And kind of what he said, he was like, if you come back and fix these things, like, I'm not going to not call you again. Like, it's you make those changes and you got a good chance to be a Tar Heel. So that was kind of motivation going into that second year. Made some changes with my body and my mechanics, and started throwing a lot more strikes that year. And then he calls again. He's like, well, you're throwing on Saturdays. I'm not going to offer you unless I can see you in person. And so I'm like, come on. Like, I know you're not leaving a weekend series to come watch a junior college kid. So I'm like, that's not good. That's not good at all. And a couple weeks later, we have a rain out, and we move from from Friday, Saturday to Sunday, Monday, our 3 games. And the first thing I did was let him know that I was going to be pitching on a Monday. And he said, I'll be there. He was there, drove the 5 hours to Little Morristown, Tennessee, and offered me that night, and I committed the next morning. So it was a very long and kind of not a typical recruiting process, but one that was rewarding.
Not to ask you to give away state secrets here or give away the farm, but it does seem like, at least to me from watching you, your ability to just throw strikes has been the number one aspect of your success. So
for sure.
And obviously that's something every pitcher wants to do. But how did you get to that spot, the mechanics of it, whatever it was? How did you get to that spot where you're able to go out there and pound the zone the way that you have?
For me, it's all mental. It's something that Coach Howe really brought it up to me after my first year. And I would get behind in so many counts that first year to where it just became easier for hitters to make those swing decisions. And we kind of like, is it mechanics? No. Is it this? No. Like, get your mentality. Like, you're trying to be too perfect. And I thought making that change, like going from junior college to the ACC, like if you don't hit your spot, like it's going to get crushed automatically. And I was wrong in thinking that, especially learning kind of what your pitches do, which is something we've been able to do with all the technology we've gotten over the last couple of years up at the Bosch. And so after that first year in that fall before I got hurt, it was kind of an emphasis on try and throw it down the middle as hard as you can. Like, that's early in the count. Like, you don't need to be specific with where you're going with kind of how your stuff plays. So I'm like, that seems a little crazy, but let's do it. And I did it that fall, and it was just drastic, the difference in how people were timing up my pitches. Like, the difference between 0-1 and 1-0 is unbelievable. And so that's kind of something that I stick with. I'm not trying to throw it down the middle, but I'm not trying to throw it every pitch on the black. So it's something that's helped me get ahead in counts, and it's just kind of amazing the changes that makes.
I think some fans even may not understand kind of that dynamic with Coach Gaines and Coach Howell and how they provide all the various information to you. How does that work, and what have you taken from each of them that has been beneficial to you?
I've taken so much from both of them. That's something that I'd have to sit down and think about for a long time to give you specifics, but a lot of it coming in as a transfer, especially an older transfer, like, has been more mental. Like, I have pretty simple mechanics. I had an understanding of what kind of my pitch profiles were a little bit. So just kind of, they both played at Carolina, and I think that goes such a long way. So they've been in my exact shoes and just kind of taught me, like, hey, you're good, go pitch like you're good. And that's been something that can be harder at times than you think, and they've really helped me big time with that along the way.
When did you really believe that you were good?
You always have it, like, in the back of your mind, but that fall after my first year, like, when I made those changes, like, it's like, hey, like, if I can continuously do this outing after outing after outing, like, good things are probably going to happen. And it's something that, like, you try to avoid. Like, we preach humility and all that stuff a lot, and it's been so big for our program, like, the way everybody carries themselves. But you kind of got to fight, like, when you're on the mound, like, you're not going to go crazy or anything, but you got to carry yourself a little different, and that's something that kind of has gone a long way for me.
What is it? And maybe the answer is it's the tone is set from the top. You watch some teams, and every home run is let's shoot fireworks off. It's the biggest deal that's ever happened. There's guys that celebrate by flipping the bats on walks now. I mean, and I've even heard some TV announcers talk about this, that Carolina kind of goes in there. You guys know you're good. You expect it. You're playing hard. If something good happens, something bad happens, you carry yourself very professionally, to use that term. Where's that come from for this team?
I think it comes ultimately going back to Coach Fox. He's had a tremendous impact on Coach Forbes himself and Carolina baseball, and that's kind of how you go about your business. Like, expect to do those things. Like, when you celebrate like that, it's almost like it's not something you were expecting to do. So that kind of stuff is expected, and it's something that the older guys, when I first got here, like, they let you know about it early, and now it's become our responsibility as older guys to let those younger kids know how Carolina baseball works and how you're going to carry yourself. And I think it goes a long way throughout the course of a season, throughout the course of multiple seasons, having humility in what you're doing out there. Like, the game knows. It's something we talk about. The game will reward the people that do it the right way, and that's something that we talk about often, and it's an expectation for everybody in the program, coaches, us, support staff. Like, you're going to carry yourself how you should carry yourself on a baseball field, and it's something that I love being a part of.
How do you get that message across as a guy people look to? I mean, people talked even last year when you were out about your leadership. What is your style of conveying that message and making sure guys understand?
I'm a quieter kid just in general, but if something needs to be said, like, I'll say it. And I think now in an age where you can watch so much college baseball where you couldn't before. Like the kids knowing it coming in, like they know it already. So it hasn't been something that we've really had to deal with as far as how you carry yourself. And that's something that Coach Forbes really does a good job of in the fall, like right away. Like this is how you're going to do it. And you have a lot of guys that are leading by example just from the start in those fall scrimmages. Like you just kind of hop in line and if you play here when you're 24 and get a chance to be a leader, then that's something that you can tackle. But just fall in line, and we got so many guys that me and Vandy are captains, but there's so many guys that carry plenty of weight in the leadership category, and that's what's so nice about being in a program like this is we wear the C's on our chest, but there's every guy out there is doing something and carrying their weight and talking to younger guys. And Stevenson is helping the younger catchers, and Gavin's an experienced sophomore. He's played 100 games now. Like he helps people out. Madera, Stokely. I mean, there's just so many guys. Kane Kepley coming in from Liberty. Like they carry themselves the right way, and it makes being an older guy fun. You don't have to get on many people.
I know you got to go soon, so a couple quick things. What do you like to do outside of baseball? What are your interests?
I love to golf, but I haven't.
Yes.
I have not golfed since I got hurt. I told myself I was gonna finish.
So we've gone like
this.
2 years.
Yeah, it's been a while. And then fish with my dad at home. He's had a boat my whole life, so we don't get to get out as much as I used to. But it's always great to get out with him still.
When you're golfing good, like what are we talking about? Are we talking about 80s, 90s, 70s?
COVID was peak Jake Knapp golf.
Yeah, I like that.
Probably in my life. 90. Like that's
all right. Hey.
bogey golf. Like that was the best, and probably will be the best I've ever played. So,
I respect that.
we played a bunch back in Greensboro with my buddies. So
You ever had a hole in one?
No.
Okay.
No, not fortunate enough.
Just double check. Okay.
Thank goodness you have to be somewhere. We'd have to hear Jones's story again.
What is it about this team, man? I mean, I'm not sure this is the most talented Tar Heel team of all time. I mean, there's plenty of talent, but there's just something about this group. From somebody who's in it, what is it?
They're tough. I mean, we knew it was going to be a different style of baseball this year, and I think once everybody kind of bought into their roles and kind of realized what brand of baseball we were going to have to play, like we struggled early, and we talked about it the other day. We lose our first 2 ACC series a couple games we could have won, and like we just kind of talked as a team and realized like, hey, like this is what needs to be done. This is how we're doing it now. There was nothing wrong, but like just kind of know who you are, look yourself in the mirror, and like bring that every day. And since that kind of conversation, like it's been fun to be a part of. I don't think a lot of people give us a whole lot of credit. Like we see the rankings and that stuff, but you still hear everything. And hey, can they hit? Do they have enough bullpen arms without Percival and Mateus? Like there's freshmen in the bullpen. There's been question after question after question, and I think this team is really tough and is going to be fun down the stretch, as a lot of guys have really figured out what their role is and how Carolina baseball goes about it.